In JavaScript, the word we use for text is not actually text, it's string or strings. And from this point on, we're going to use that term so that other programmers know what we're talking about. It's a very common term and you will hear it quite often. So the way that you represent some text in JavaScript is actually not just writing text like this, because if you do that, it won't work. What you need to do is that you need to add a double quote or a single quote around your text. That way JavaScript knows that this is just some regular text and not a special function name or something like that. JavaScript lets you add strings together to create new strings. So if you have two strings and you put a plus between them, you create a new string actually, which is the sum of those two strings, if you will. And the same goes for pretty much any number of string you have. You can just keep on going and going. Now, I'm not saying that this is how you should do it. It would be in this scenario much easier to put everything into one string, but you'll find often that you may have several words or several small strings and somehow you just want to put them together. And this is how you would do that. Let's say that you for some reason needed to know the length of the string, then you would do .length on that string, and that will actually return a number, and that number will be the amount of characters that is found inside of the string. So in this scenario, it actually counts the space plus all the characters. Here are some useful functions for when working with strings. So to uppercase will uppercase all the characters in a string. To lowercase will lowercase all the characters in a string. Substring will take a starting position and an end position and return a subset string of the string that you're using. So if I use the word hello and I give it a 0 and a 1, that means take the 0th position and give me all the characters up to the first position, which in this case is just an H. If I do the 4th position up until the 5th position, that will be just the last letter, which is an O. And if I do 0 and 5, which is the length of the whole word, I will actually get back the whole word. And then we have parseInt. This is an amazingly useful function where you give it a string representation of a number and it returns the actual number. The same thing goes for parseFloat. And lastly, if you're adding a string to any other value, what's actually going to happen, it's going to create a new string. And that's just the default behavior in JavaScript, and this works for anything. Objects, numbers, you name it. So remember that whenever adding something to a string, it will automatically create a new string.